I want to have lighter colors at the top and darker colors at the bottom and really get a nice gradient. And you move it up and down in a nice wave pattern. Oh, that's beautiful. Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my Fluid Art channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So today is another little mini collab with Claire from Rainbow Acrylics by Claire. We had so much fun in our last little collaboration that we did a couple months ago about birds. This one, it's water. That's the theme. So I think she's doing some like a whirlpool kind of thing, and I'm doing a big swipe, like an ombre gradient water swipe. So very, very excited. Now this kind of swipe was actually the very first painting that I ever did in this studio, on this table and in this space. And I've got some hanging up in my bathroom, and like I've led classes on it, but I haven't actually painted it for a video in the last 2 years. So I'm excited to do that today. I have so many colors here, so many, because instead of doing a horizontal water piece, where it's all kind of the same and it swipes across, I'm doing it vertical. And I want to have lighter colors at the top and darker colors at the bottom. And so with each of my colors here, with each blue, with each purple or green, I needed lighter shades of each and darker shades of each so that I can have some separation and really get a nice gradient on here. So let me show you those colors a little closer. So I'm trying to have different shades of darkness for each color set. So for example, the greens up here, I have ocean green, which is obviously the light one, and then I've got Viridian, and then this is a mix of the two. And then I have a couple of purples, a lighter purple and a darker purple. And then this one, this is all Phthalo Blue. So this is Phthalo Blue by itself. This has a bit of black, this has a little bit of white, and this has a lot of white. So that way it's all the same shade of blue, or the same like hue, but it's either lighter or darker depending on where it is. Then this one is Cerulean Blue, so this is straight cerulean, this is cerulean with white, and this one has some Phthalo Blue added to make it a bit darker. And then I have a lighter sort of metallic turquoise, and a medium metallic blue, and then I've got a darker metallic teal and a darker metallic blue. And then for the base colors, I have white for the top section, and I have this pale grayish blue for the bottom section. And here's the consistency. I would call it a medium thin. Medium to medium thin. Flows nicely. Leaves a little trace. Leaves a little mound, but not a really big pile. So for this swipe, I will be using silicone oil to make cells, and I forgot to add it to the paint ahead of time, so I will add it right now. The silicone that I use is Spot On Treadmill Lubricant silicone. I got it on Amazon. I think it was like $11 for this 4-ounce bottle, and it has lasted me forever. So when you're using Floetrol in your paints, it's a pretty reactive mixture anyway. You don't have to add a lot of silicone. Usually I say like a drop of silicone per ounce of paint, but a lot of these are like 2.5 ounces of paint, and I'm still only putting 1 drop in, just because it really doesn't need that much. For certain other pouring mediums, you might find that you need a lot more silicone to like make the reaction happen. But when your paints have Floetrol in them, you really don't need much. And so the less you use, the better. It'll be a lot easier to clean up afterwards. And if you don't know how to clean silicone off of a finished painting, you can watch this video where I show you how to do it really well. Okay, so my base colors will not have silicone in them. I'm using white for the top, and then this sort of bluish gray for the bottom, because I didn't want the same kind of brightness all the way down. I wanted the bottom, even the highlights, to be a little bit darker in the dull section, but still be quite a pale color. So I'm going to start by just using a palette knife to swipe these all over the canvas, and then we'll add our colors. I'm going to add a little bit of white here, just along the start of this, and I'm going to add some of this blue up here just so that it doesn't feel quite so stark of a line. But that way you have definitely, you've got all white, you've got all blue, and then you have primarily blue with white, primarily white with blue. It should be a nice fade. I'm going to torch it really quick just to get rid of some of these air bubbles. Time to start adding the colors. So my blues, I want those to be obviously the main colors that we have. So I want to put some of this light blue up here at the top. Great, we'll start with that. And then I'm using the same blues, like from the exact same section, and I'll just start moving those further down. Overlapping slightly, perhaps. Bring some of this a little bit further down too. And then the darkest. This is looking cool already. So as I'm putting it on, I'm just kind of squiggling it. We want lots of color overlap. As I swipe, I don't want it to look really like linear. So I'm just trying to make some natural wave action. It doesn't matter a whole lot. Before I add the next color blue, I'm going to add some of the greens. So again, starting at the top with this light green. And then the dark green at the bottom. And here in the middle, this sort of medium one. Let's add some metallics next. So this pale sea mist is going to be the best up here at the top. So I want lots of it up there, but then I do want a bit of it coursing down everywhere except the very bottom. This metallic bright blue, I think I'll skip the very, very top, but I want it to start pretty soon after that and go all the way down. Because even in the darkest section, well, maybe not the very last couple inches. So then I've got the darkest blue, which will pretty much just go here on the bottom section. Maybe up a bit. And then the metallic teal, which you know is one of my favorite colors. I'll start a bit of that up here, but have it mostly sort of middle and lower. So as you can see, we're getting a lot of paint on here, lots of colors crisscrossing. The base coat is just a base coat to kind of catch the rest of the colors. All right, that's all the metallics. Let's do the purples now. And I don't want lots and lots of purple, so I'm going to try to make like really thin streams of it. And just a couple wisps here and there. Because I didn't want it to be just blue and green, nor did I want it to be like heavily purple. And I thought the purple and the green might clash and make it look too colorful. Mostly blues and greens, but a bit of purple too. Okay, last set of blues. So this is the Cerulean, the lightened Cerulean, and it's lovely. The Cerulean is a bit greener than the Phthalo Blue. The Phthalo is slightly more purple. Okie dokie. So that looks really cool. So much color, so many overlapping layers. I love it. I don't know that I'm tall enough. I could probably reach up and swipe. I was thinking about turning it sideways and like swiping this way. Maybe I'll try to reach and hope I don't get paint all over me. But I'm gonna start with just, as you're swiping this way and that way, it's pretty easy to cover the sides. It's a little harder to cover the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to swipe up a bit to start some dripping over the sides. That way, even if my first swipe doesn't cover perfectly, we've got some color traveling down the sides. I think I'm going to be swiping mostly with this big palette knife. It's like a cake froster. But I might do the first one with this one just because we're bumping up against the edge. So you just touch it gently and you move it up and down in a nice wave pattern. Oh, that's beautiful. And then I like to come back the opposite direction. That way you don't have one side that's like weighted with the larger bubbles and one side that's weighted with the smaller. You get motion both ways. Okay, I think I'm going to switch now to the bigger one. I love the hints of purple popping up through there. It's looking perfect. Okay, haven't swiped with this before. I'm just going to dip it a little bit in here so it isn't totally dry to start out with. Nice. And then I'm not wiping off my palette knife each time. Sometimes it's nice to have a bit of the color carry over, but you don't want a lot of the color to carry over or it will turn into mud. Missed a spot here. I will come back and fix that. It's looking pretty. I'm gonna wipe off my palette knife here just because I can't tell if my colors are going just a little muddy or not. Dip it in here. Oh, so pretty. And then back. And then here I am down at the bottom of the canvas, and I haven't already covered the bottom, so let me do that really quick. I think I'll finish up with a couple of small ones. So this is absolutely spectacular. It is so, so pretty. Whenever you do this, there's going to be some parts that you miss, where just the palette knife doesn't go exactly where you want, or it lifts, or it doesn't completely cover. Fortunately, when you're working with silicone, it is very, very forgiving. And so my favorite thing to do is take a little piece of paper towel, and you just stick it where you want to fix, and you drag it right through. Now that one didn't make a whole lot of cells, but it still blended it, and if I wanted to blend it even more, I could. Usually you get more cells popping up, but certainly we've got some there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go around and look at it really carefully and see, are there any spots that maybe you don't see the first time you look at it, but as you look at it more closely, are there any spots that I would find distracting, and just kind of swipe through them and make them less distracting. And I'm going to work on covering the sides at the same time. And I do that the exact same way. Just get a bit of paper towel and you pull the color down over the side. It's okay if it looks kind of streaky, because that's how the rest of it looks. Well, it's very possible that as I keep looking at this, I will find more spots that I want to touch up, but for right now, I'm really, really happy with it. So let me give you a close-up. Okay, so this is so pretty. Oh, it's perfect. Now, I turned off the cameras and I was like, why are the cells down here so strange? They're not as normal. They're like larger, and then I realized I never stirred in my silicone when I added it to all the colors. So silly me. So some of these really big cells, that's from like blobs of silicone that didn't get stirred into the paint. Clearly there was still plenty of silicone around to make cells, and most of the canvas has a lot of the nice cells that you get from silicone that is properly mixed. But it's just kind of funny that I was like, I didn't even mix it in. I added it to all the colors. But it starts out so peaceful and soft up there. And then you start getting purple, you start getting some of the darker blue in the metallics. That section I might need to swipe through a little bit. But then you get more of the green and the colors start getting a bit more saturated. And then I love this stripe right here. That's just so cool. I love the little pockets of purple you get. It's just the right amount. Overall, it's very blue, green, turquoise. And then it's nice and dark down here. And I think as it dries, it's going to be even darker. But yes, I love this so, so much. And I cannot wait to show you how it looks when it's dry. So let's go to that next. Here it is. It's all dry. All finished. Oh guys, I love this so much. I think the top is my favorite. Do you see that shimmery pale color? That's that metallic sea mist. It's such a beautiful color. I love how the metallics just make all those bubbles come to life. And when this is varnished, it'll look even more three-dimensional. And then it just fades down into the middle. The colors start getting a bit darker. And then as we get down to the bottom, we have the darker purples, the darker blues. And then right here at that bottom, that weird section where the cells are not as small and close together, even that is really pretty. It's almost like, and here you are close up, and it's like all the little bubbles and the foam on the surface of the water is all bigger because it's closer to you. So I just think it's really, really cool. I don't know if I mentioned how big this is. This is a 15 by 30 inch canvas, so it is pretty big. Hardly fits on my table, but I love it. I'm so glad that I ended up going with a vertical canvas on this one, because certainly having this size of canvas, you can go from the lights all the way to the darks, and it's just this effortless transition, and I love it. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this ocean-themed swipe. I hope it inspired you to try something new. Be sure to check out Claire's video if you haven't seen it yet. It turned out so cool, and I'll have the link popping up here in the corner and down in the video description so that you can find that easily. Let me know down in the comments, have you ever done a palette knife swipe like this? And would you like to try one after seeing me do it? This has been a lot of fun. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!